everybody, welcome to the premiere episode of is it going to be the Waffle House Fight Night show? Because that's a little easier to say, Casey. We've got Casey Seymour. He's the host of the still profitable, still actually on the air Moving Iron podcast. What do you think about that, Casey?
My news network hasn't kicked me off yet. So,
well, that's great to hear, Casey, because we just kind of finally gave up on the Dryland Farmer podcast. We weren't talking anything dry. We weren't talking anything lines, and we weren't really talking anything farming. So we decided to reboot, restructure, and whatever Kramer says on the Merv Griffin episode of the Seinfeld show. And we've also got Landon Nolan. He's also the co-host of the former and now defunct and bankrupt Dryland Farmer podcast. So we're glad that everybody's here. If anybody is anything like me, they love watching a good old-fashioned fight at the Waffle House. Casey, are you a big Waffle House connoisseur?
Yeah. There were some Waffle Houses not too far from in college. There was the all-night diner type thing that everybody went to after they got good and smoked.
Right.
And then did that whole thing.
So is the Waffle House like Whataburger in Texas? I don't think I've ever been to a Whataburger in the daytime. It's kind of like it's kind of like the Titty Bar. If you're at the Titty Bar and the sun's up, as Chris Rock liked to say, you got problems because nobody wants to see the 2 p.m. staff at Whataburger, let alone the Titty Bar.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where the talent just kind of gets better as the night goes on.
So
just because you have more to drink.
Yeah, so our go-to was always Whataburger. It wasn't. I mean, we had Waffle Houses in Lubbock, and they still do, but we just always, and I guess mainly because we always usually went through the drive-through, which was probably not a wise idea. We probably should have not been, necessarily driving in the first place, but we did. But nevertheless, I don't think Waffle House has a drive-through, and you really didn't want to get out. I remember we had. And I think it's still there. I think it was called Coyote. Was it called Coyote Cafe or something? It was a 24-hour little Mexican food place. And I went there twice with friends and never went inside. And I never got any food because I was asleep in whatever vehicle I was in at the time. And I didn't drive either time. But all I remember from the first time I went there is that my buddies came back with a chair that they didn't go in with. So they had stolen one of the restaurant chairs. And restaurants putting it, pretty mild. I mean, you take that tongue in cheek there when you're talking about furniture. But was it Coyote? I want to say, no, maybe it was something else because that's an Amarillo. Whatever the case, I never went in. I've never even been in it. I don't even know where it's at. Literally don't know where this place is, and I've been there twice. But no, our go-to place is Whataburger because it was pretty close to Midnight Rodeo until it closed. And always got the old burger and fries and the Dr. Pepper at like 2:30 in the morning. So it was ironically enough, I didn't get the freshman 15. I got like the senior 15, and then I got the post college 30 after all that was said and done. So and I didn't even get pregnant. At least not that time.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good you get pregnant. That's a definite plus. We had a place called Bob's Diner at Kansas State. That was the go to Bob's Diner after a 24-hour deal, same thing. And it was chicken fried steaks and bacon and eggs and whatever you wanted, right?
Yeah.
And it was True Blue Diner. And you might go in there. Why anybody worked there at 2:30 in the morning baffle me because you go to the same deal. You go there during the day and there'd be like 6 people in there.
Right.
You go there at 2:30 in the morning and there's like 20-minute wait to get into the Bob's Diner.
It's like going to a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse on a Saturday night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it didn't have the same flavor during the day that it had at night. But you go through there and there would be always it was like a what do you call that? Like a
food
rite of passage.
Oh, okay.
You go in there and do the old dine and dash. You know what I mean? So
wait. A Class C misdemeanor was a rite of passage at Kansas State.
That was a rite of passage. Yeah, that was Everybody did it. You'd see a group of like 15 guys come in, sit down, eat breakfast, and then there'd be like a waitress,
A bull rush to the door.
the dude cooking back there, and
Oh, okay.
all 15 of them would just get up and run out the door.
So
After
needless
they
to
ate,
say,
probably we're talking 1997 money, but like $50 worth of breakfast food.
Bob's Burgers or whatever is not in business anymore.
Oddly enough, man, I don't know how or why or what, but that's still there. I think it's still going.
So I take it everybody was wearing a hoodie and a mask at that time.
No, that was just you just did it, and for the best. I don't know.
And you did it, and you still came back.
Yeah, you come back. I mean, I never had the balls to do it because I'm the guy that's gonna get caught, you know. Mm-hmm. But there were.
You do have a felon's face.
when you're 4 inches taller and 50 pounds heavier than everybody around you, you kind of stand out in the crowd, you know. So
it's like they say, you don't have to be the fastest, you just can't be the slowest.
Just can't be the slowest, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do that whole thing, and you'd watch these people go in and do it, and you'd see them there the next weekend too, and it would be just like they'd not done nothing wrong. But
did they run out with like Sony televisions and that kind of stuff?
No, not quite that. Just French fries mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was where it kind of. Now, did you ever have they had this other place called Pizza Shuttle, and Pizza Shuttle was basically, you get like a medium sized pizza, kind of what it is, pizza or whatever, and everything was like a 2 for 3 for 4 for whatever, and it was basically 4 pizzas and 4 drinks. Right?
Yeah.
Well, my fat ass would come home after drinking, and we'd be, I'll get the 4 for, because I'm always like hungrier than you think you're going to be, So I get 4 pizzas. I just want 1 drink. You gotta have 4 drinks, dude. We cannot just send it out there with 1 drink. I'm like, well, make a little extra money on me and just send the 1 drink. It was like congressional committee,
like a bureaucratic nightmare.
Yeah, like you don't understand the level of shit I'm gonna have to go through because you want 1 drink instead of 4.
If I come back with 3 extra cups, my ass is gonna be in a bind.
Yeah. And really the pizza was like $5 pizzas, maybe. I think it might have been $5, and it was tax included, right? So you you order 4 pizzas, you get $20, and you get those pizzas and they come and they're as good, and they tasted about like a Tony's pizza,
Okay.
Like slightly above the dollar pizzas that you'd get, you know what I mean, at the grocery store, but somewhere between that and like a what was the kind that had the rising crust? That was like the
DiGiorno?
Like a DiGiorno pizza. It was like somewhere in between there, and it was, you just get your pizza and you.
Dude, I lived on Gino. Was it Gino's Pizzas or Totino's? I mean, it was just literally a thin slice of dough with cheese on it, and I mean, you thought I'd went to the gourmet of gourmet pizza because I ate the shit out of that stuff. It was like $1 a pizza.
Yep. And I don't care how long you cook that pizza. If it was 30 seconds or 30 minutes, the sauce was enough to melt your face.
Yes, it was. It was like when the Nazis looked at the Ark of the Covenant, man. I'm telling you what.
Candle wax.
Yeah. It was like when Linda Hamilton was envisioning that nuclear weapon on T2 Judgment Day. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know what it is about cheese that goes nuclear, but it's amazing how fast, because you could put say you make like a taco or something and you want to heat up the meat. And I didn't know, like my mom taught me this, like put sour cream in there and you can heat the sour cream and it's like really good. But like the cheese will be melted long before the meat is hot. Yeah. So you've got to do the whole thing where I feel like I'm going in and out. Yeah,
like a layer.
You've got a layer. And my favorite, and I bust my wife's balls all the time, I'll walk into the kitchen and I'll walk by the microwave and there'll always be 1 second left on the microwave. The only time that is ever really needed, and I'll admit I'm guilty of it too, but the only time that 1 second will make the difference between life and death is if that's microwavable popcorn. Because if you go 1 second too long, that whole son of a bitch is ruined. It turns into freaking ashes. It smells up the entire house.
So your wife's kind of like my wife, who hits the microwave thing, makes it roll, and then punches the numbers in, and she's like, "I cannot believe it's taken this long." I'm like, "You set the timer, so you shouldn't be surprised by how long it's going to take."
Your wife is probably in her 40s by now.
Yes.
Does she still not figured out how long a minute is? I mean, she's had sex with you how many times? She doesn't know that.
Oh.
Well, it's that she doesn't know it. She can't measure either. So I mean,
Oh, that's true. She doesn't know what 6 inches really is. Yeah. But no, yeah, microwavable popcorn. The window is so tiny. I mean, I would far rather undercook and have. What was it? Was it on The Office where was it Dwight or somebody cooked a bag of popcorn and like it popped like 8 kernels and the rest of it was just a bunch of seeds?
The seeds, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just like it's just like blowing up those balloons like an eighth of the way. It is your birthday. And all those brown balloons are hardly inflated.
You're right though on popcorn like that. I mean, if you're 2 seconds too short, you got nothing but seeds. If you're 2 seconds too long, you got
you've got Hiroshima on your hands. I mean, you've got shadows of popcorn imprinted into the sidewalk. That's what you've got.
It's amazing how that works.
Oh, and amazingly enough, my younger son, he knows that window, and he's not very old. I mean, he's 11 now, but which he is a math genius, but still, he knows that window. And also, it's interesting, the turntable in our microwave, if you do it on 30 second or a minute, like 30-second intervals. If I've noticed, this is how much minutia I think about during the day. If you put your coffee mug in there, and wherever you leave the handle, so I mean you're going to stick it in there, and the handle's going to be sticking out towards you. You close the door. If you put it on a 30-second or a minute, it's going to end up, and you don't end it on the last second before the last second goes out. It's going to be exactly where you left it. That handle is going to be perfectly where you reached in to put it in there. That's how awesome our microwave is.
Pretty slick.
Oh,
so as long as you're on 30-minute intervals, so at a minute it's the same place it was, right?
Yeah, minute 30, 2 minutes land. Casey, what comes next? 2 minutes, what? This is an SAT question. Yeah, too late. It's 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
222. Yeah.
But I never have counted how many revolutions it takes to get that. I'm going to say it rotates. I'm going to say it's going to rotate 5 times. We're going to have to do a video on that just to see how many times the turntable in my microwave makes in 30 seconds.
Yeah, there's
let me see. This was not in my notes, but okay.
The microwave thing is a trip, because I'll do the same thing where, again, like the splatter effect with mashed potatoes, for example,
or
lasagna,
or Sloppy Joe.
Like Sloppy Joe, right? Again, 2 seconds too short.
Yep.
It's not quite warm enough. 2 seconds too long. It's looks like someone's brains got blown out inside of your microwave.
So, and then I like the half power option, where you try to defrost it. It sounds like it goes the microwave sounds like it goes from like a turbine, like a jet, to like a prop job. It's just like you can tell it's not putting out near as much radiation. And it's just not, you can hear that engine just kind of coasting. It's like it's on a VFD mode electrical drive.
Yeah.
It's so odd. But
plenty of craziness there in the old microwave.
But you have to do the half power on that frozen stuff. It just, if you just can wait. I mean, think about this, Casey. How much is the microwave related to sex?
Oh.
If you start out at half power, you got to get that frozen taco warmed up slowly, before you just really hit it and split the sour cream down the middle before it's too late.
You can't just go in there, like a bowl in a china closet, because you end up breaking the shell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and next thing you know, you're blowing up inside their microwave.
Blowing up way too soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's an analogy worth exploring, to say the least. So what are you drinking tonight? Is that more kerosene, or what is that?
No, this is so I found this place in Torrington, Wyoming. Shout out to Wyoming, what's it called? Wyoming Food Store.
You'll see the number coming across the screen here.
Yeah, shout out to them. I got a cow butchered over there. So
At the
went to
liquor
pick it
store
up.
/ butcher.
Yes, so I go in there and they have some really top shelf stuff over there that I did not notice when I was there the first time.
Okay.
So I'm drinking some 20-year-old Pendleton whiskey right now.
Mm-hmm. I just
Aged 20 years.
So
It is nice.
people
Real
think
nice.
people think they're being slick on the whole Bud Light thing, and if you zoom in, I don't know if anybody realizes what it says on there,
Michelob.
but it says Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
So you're really not. I mean, you're really not doing. I mean, you are hurting them, I guess. I was a Bud Light person, but I mean, I don't even know if people are taking the risk of buying Bud Light, you know, and going drinking at their own house. I think they're too scared to even be seen because they put the beer at Walmart at the back of the store with the milk.
Sure.
Nobody it's like buying. At least they put okay, this is a whole nother deal. At least they put the rubbers at the pharmacy at the front of the store, where at least you can go buy a bag of chips and then throw the bag of chips on top of the rubbers. But now
Some Cheetos and some rubbers now.
I'd always get wavy lays is what I'd get. But because it was the mega size, you know.
Sure.
But now, and I don't know if this is a corporate policy or a local policy, but now they've got all the rubbers and the personal products behind glass. So now you've got to go up to the pharmacy and ask for them to go unlock the dildo drawer and pick out, you know, your personal products.
Yeah, it's you know, people talk about boycotting Anheuser-Busch. You know, they're making fun of the Budweiser commercials with the we're Uber American, this, that, and the other thing. You should go look and see what Anheuser-Busch actually, the brands that are associated with Anheuser-Busch, and it's next to impossible to
get away from them.
I mean, Corona is an Anheuser-Busch.
See, I've looked on the bottle.
Well, partially. I mean, they don't own all of it, but they own some of it. Yeah.
What do they own?
I like 50% of it or something. I can't remember what it is. They don't own all of it, but it's part of it.
Because I mean, I've drank a lot of it, and I've looked lately, and I didn't see it anywhere on the bottle. All I saw it was imported by, or is all I've seen. Maybe they don't.
So they had that South African Breweries or something like that. That's who bought out Anheuser-Busch in a hostile takeover.
Well, that was InBev, wasn't it?
InBev, yeah. No, SAB, that was Coors.
InBev is
InBev is who bought
Anheuser-Busch.
Anheuser-Busch, yeah. So, but that's like Rolling Rock. That's part of that. And
I never liked Rolling Rock.
You know, I went through the whole Rolling Rock phase in college because that was just cool. You know,
You were independent, and
well, I was cool because on Wednesday nights it was import night, and Rolling Rocks were like $1. So like, I'm the cool guy here with my green bottled beer,
right?
You know, and but yeah, I don't. I got into a Red Stripe phase for a minute.
Well, you were frat-tastic.
And worked at a bar though, so that was kind of where I got down for that.
Do you have do y'all have like mutant flies at your house? Not like a bunch of them, but a handful. I guess they like been hibernating all winter.
You know, we've got this is the season of the moth right now. So
yeah, our moths are gone.
We've got the old, what do they call Millers?
Millers, yeah.
Millers down here. When I first moved out here, they're like, "Oh, the Millers are back." I'm like, "Is this like a set of neighbors that everybody hates, or what is this?"
You thought they said migrants, is what you probably thought.
Yeah, they've got, man, there's a lot of places. This is a fun game you can play. So, yes, without the ones that you think you know. I mean, like, you get the Bud Lights and the Natural Lights and the Bushes and those kind of things. Give me another beer brand that is associated with Anheuser-Busch that you may or may not know it is.
See, well, first of all, I figured the Michelob was Michelob or Miller.
Michelob. No, that's so you have Michelob Light.
Miller.
Michelob Light has more calories than Michelob does. So that's reverse of what it should be.
But as far as the ownership, I just figured Michelob was Michelob. Michelob owned Michelob.
Yeah, no.
Brewed and canned by Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah. So Kona Big Wave. That's a
Hawaiian.
Yeah. You got Stella Artois. That is Anheuser-Busch, and you got Stella
Artois. Yeah, so somebody told me, and I know, unless they're full of shit, Yingling is not. Somebody said if you don't want to drink Anheuser-Busch, drink Yingling.
Yeah, Yingling. The thing about Yingling, it's hard to find.
Hell, I see it all over the place down here.
You got to have it's in certain markets, but mostly east of the Mississippi.
Let's see, we're west of the Mississippi.
But there's obviously Texas is a place where you're going to see it at. But I don't know. I think Yingling might have just made it into the Wichita, Kansas market a year ago. But it's in Las Vegas and places like that. So it's almost like the Coors beer of Smokey and the Bandit a little bit. From eastbound and down.
Oh, okay. So we got, of course, Texas has Shiner, and it's one thing about Shiner. I mean, it's good, but you don't want to go home with it, because if you go home with it, you're going to wake up with a headache like hell. At least I would. Those dark beer. They had a place in Lubbock. It was a bar in the Lubbock. Was it the Lubbock Inn? I think it was called, and it was a hotel bar called the Recovery Room. And they had dollar Shiner schooners on Saturday nights or something. They had karaoke and everything. We didn't go very often. I think you can hear me whistling through my nose. That's so awesome. Yeah, so they had dollar Shiner schooners and karaoke. Man, that was some fun. God, that was some fun times. Because you'd go to the Recovery Room. It wasn't really close to any fast food. I was kind of in the center of. It was close to campus. Of course, we didn't live at campus at that point, but it was. There wasn't any close fast food nearby. Domino's, but that didn't really do any good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
that whole thing, the whole Bud Light thing too. It makes me laugh about that a little bit. Is that they make it out to be like the person that came up with that ad campaign just did it, under the radar and totally just put it out and sold it off and gave it to all the marketing places all the marketing outlets they had, and no one else at Anheuser-Busch knew what was going on with that thing.
Oh yeah,
somebody watched that.
They workshopped that.
I don't know, but yeah, we'll try it. We'll see we'll make this thing. Worst case scenario, we're just get some virtue signal hate out of this deal, right? And lo and behold, they got a lot more than that. But
what's the recovery time?
The crazy thing about this, Brent, is that usually stuff like this, it lasts a weekend and no one ever hears about it again. This has been getting more the snowball effect of this has gotten bigger and bigger. Now you got Target in the mix. You got all these other people that are doing the same kind of things, that are feeling the same kind of backlash.
Yeah.
That it's just not going away. Typically something like this comes up and then 2 or 3 weekends go by and whatever, and you're back to selling. But Bud Light's down. I think
they were 15 billion less in market cap, after the first week or something.
Yes, they're down 17% year over year.
Yeah,
and you think about 17% and that volume, that's a lot of beer.
Because the Mexican drug cartels are not dipping their foot into the Pride movement. No. They are not going to hurt that product.
No, they're really not. I mean, now you even got you got some Muslim groups out there throwing a fit about.
Was it the Armenians, or is that a whole different? Was it Armenian Muslims or just Armenians?
I think it might have been Armenian Muslims, but they were fired up about something, and it had to do with the same stuff about.
They were whipping ass.
Yeah, they were getting after it. It was a pride parade, wasn't it? Where they went sideways pretty quick.
The Armenian there was the school thing.
That's right. Yes.
They were trying to teach it in this is interesting. I'm typing it Armenians in Google here, and it's not bringing up, how it gives you it doesn't give any shortcuts to Armenians argue against pride. It just has Armenian people, well, unless it's Glendale. Maybe I'm wrong. Hang on. I got to hit the sneeze button. But hey. Whoa. Okay, no. It didn't. Let's see. Armenians fight against. Unless I got my incognito on. Pro anti-LGBT groups fight violently outside California school over gender. Oh, so it was Glendale, but let's see here. A Glendale school district meeting turned out violent on Tuesday as separate groups brawled with each other as administrators discussed recognizing Pride Month. Let's see here. The demonstrations outside the district building were relatively civil throughout the day, but a scuffle broke out between 200 protesters. I'm waiting to see if it's saying Glendale is a largely Armenian Muslim. Let's see. I'm pretty sure. CBS News in its report said that gender and sexual identity curriculum were not on the agenda for the meeting, and the only topic related to I call them the BLTs, community on the agenda was a declaration of support for Pride Month. Let's see. Similar pro. Okay, so it didn't really say anything about that. Isn't that interesting? But yeah, and then you go on Twitter a lot and see all these different. I'm trying to figure out if they're real or not. Like they even tried to make the USDA, and actually that one looked real. It said we support LGBT period, and it said it was from their official Twitter account, so I wouldn't be surprised. But of course, now everybody's saying, well, you're going to boycott them, you're going to boycott this. How are you going to get away from this? So, it's a shit show to say the least. But,
yeah. And it's such a, I don't know why it's got to be in our face so much. Well, you can't just let it be. Let it.
Like at church, and scary enough as this is, I lead one of our Sunday school class, and I've asked more than once, is like, what do you identify as? Or if you're not a Christian, if you're a Christian, and you don't say you're a Christian more than anything, you've got trouble. You got issues. But basically what they're saying is it's come down to anytime you introduce yourself, the first thing you're going to say is, hello, this is who I like to have sex with.
Oh.
That's all it boils down to anymore.
Well, I also think too that some of this, gender affirmation and those kind of things that come into play. Do I think there are people that have that gender dysphoria of sorts where they believe they're the different sex than what they are? Sure, yeah, no doubt about it. But I also think that a lot of these things that you see happening in this movement right now are people that cannot compete.
I pity the fool
as a male, and they go and become a female athlete, and then they dominate the whole thing, And I think, that swimmer thing, that's a good example of that, where that Leah Thompson or Thomas. Yeah, good example when Leah was a dude. He ranked.
He's still the dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's still the dude.
Yeah, and then now he's going to go be a
world champion. Yeah,
and just kind of, not necessarily, not go out and set the world on fire and just crush, but he's barely. He's barely. He's winning those kind of things, but it's just, I was watching one guy and he's like, would you ask a guy, he's like, would you let, Mike Tyson fight box as a woman, even at his current age, and as a heavyweight against a heavyweight woman? And the guy's like, well, Yeah, of course, yeah. And the guy's like, Mike Tyson, would just destroy the
Would
woman.
kill her.
I mean, a 25-year-old,
Yeah,
22-year-old
in her prime.
in her prime. I mean, it's
Just
just
murder them.
It's just a different thing, you know.
Yeah.
And you have even people like Ronda Rousey who say like, if I were to fight a top level UFC fighter in their prime,
he would.
When I was in my prime at the same weight
Mm-hmm.
that I fought at, I would lose.
They would murder me. Yeah.
Because it would be. I mean, it's just strength and endurance, and there's so many things that
just size. I mean,
I don't care what you say or what you want to do. I mean, if I've gotten in a fight with a 300-pound woman, I'm a 300-pound man, I'd be. I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna win.
But which leads to the question: what would cause you to get into a fight with a 300-pound woman, Casey? Like you fighting over donuts, or is like kolache? Get somebody drop your she could drop your kolache, or what?
Push comes to shove. You know what I mean?
Oh, there's a lot of pushing to get that going.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, and I've looked at it this way. I'm like, just take the sex, like all of that stuff out of it, and remove the sex and remove everything, and just go back to I mean, it comes back to truth. It's like Ben Shapiro, I'll never forget in one of his videos, he said, it's like, you know, when my uncle, I don't know if it was his uncle, it was a relative, it said, you know, when our uncle said he heard voices, we didn't tell him, yeah, okay, yeah, you hear, there's voices there. It's like, no, we sent him to a mental institution. They gave him lithium and he got better. It's the best retort to the whole thing is if an anorexic girl comes up to you and asks you if there's fat and they think they look fat, you're going to tell them, yes, you should go and get liposuction. It's not any different than that.
Right. Yeah.
There's no difference. The only difference is that now you're talking about sex.
Oh.
Well, one deal was if I saw a guy say this to a person, kind of, you know, one of those gotcha things, you know, if a man is in a car accident and the EMS shows up.
Oh yeah.
And they say something along the lines of, you know, I'm a woman and I think I'm pregnant, and the EMS guys are like, yeah, you're not. You can't get pregnant, so we're gonna treat you like a man, like a genetic man, you know, and we're gonna consider all the things associated with a male, not a female, because you tell me that you want. Right? I think those are things that, you know, kind of go from there. But I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I really believe some people are just taking advantage of the situation more than they are actually believing what they think they are more than anything.
You here for an abortion too? Yeah, I discovered a few days ago I wasn't bleeding out my coo, so I guess I'm knocked up.
Of prison inmates that have identified as a woman and went to women prison.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, now you're looking at
women started showing up pregnant.
Oh yeah, started showing up pregnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, it's things. I just think I think just people are just taking advantage of the situation in a lot of cases. Not all the cases, but in a lot of cases, I think that's the situation.
All right, Casey, well, let's get into a couple of roundabout segments here. And
Do it.
And I don't know, this has kind of been the whole deal from the get-go. Now that we're on sexuality and biology and medicine and stuff, I've got a question. So the gynecologist, you know, when you're a young dude, you think that would be a great idea because, you know, you get to see, you know, coos all day and every day until you realize that they're all coming to see you for a reason and not a good reason unless they're pregnant. So my question, you know, so the fat gynecology patients, so how do they do that? Is it like a shoehorn situation, you know, or is it like some kind of, you know, some kind of a like oversized duckbill shaped medical apparatus? What are they doing to get up in there? I mean, do they have the hat with the helmet in the lamp? What is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the latter is kind of what you're going to run into. The thing about that, the gynecology thing, was that I've always found to be humorous is, you know, the guy's like, I'd love to be a gynecologist. No, you're seeing the worst
of the
part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, It's like saying I love cars because I get to be a mechanic all day long.
Mm-hmm.
You're fixing stuff that's broke.
So
It doesn't shove to you in good shape.
Hereford's got a doctor, and he is delivered like he's got to be over 80 now. He has delivered like 6,000 or 7,000 babies over his lifetime. It's like an unimaginable amount. But can you imagine? I mean, what does he have to look at? I mean, of course, when you're 80 plus, chances are your drive isn't just overly, hitting that top cylinder. But
right.
I mean, delivered that many babies. That is a lot of.
That's probably a little bit of cruise control there at some point. All right, let's go.
Yeah, it's kind of like a JP going up on a situation where they have to declare somebody dead. You just have to get into a zone where nothing else. I mean, it doesn't exist. It's just a job or whatever. But I don't know. I can just envision like. What is it? Is like some kind of ice cream scoop hands or something, where they're just, and then they've got like a handyman jack that's lifting up one side, and you've got a spreader on the other side. I don't know. It just seems like a difficult job.
Oh, you got those things like when you get you lock your keys in the car.
Mm-hmm.
You got that inflatable pad, and you put it between the door. You kind of pump it up.
Yeah.
To kind of open up the door so you can get the hanger down in there, and that's kind of what I envision.
So you think it's a pneumatic type of thing?
It could be. It could be. But you could also have the same effect of it could be like pulling a grilled cheese apart.
Oh God Almighty! It's like blowing a taco apart in the microwave after one too many seconds. Oh God.
It's a tough one.
Oh, so I saw this. I've been around for a while now, and I've seen all types and kinds of people and shapes and sizes. But so I saw a lady walk in. We went to Amarillo to get some calf feed, which is almost $20 a bag, by the way. This lady walked in, and at first I thought, well, I'm not going to stare because that's not polite, and I'm not going to have mean thoughts because it might be an issue. But this lady had these arms. She was probably, she was, at least $2.50, but she had these arms. And so up to her elbow, both arms. Well, first I saw one arm. I'm like, well, maybe it's a deformity, but the other arm was symmetrical to the left arm. And so they were like all the way up to the elbow. The arms were like kind of nice and, trim and whatever. And then past the elbow, so it looked basically what it looked like is her forearm was like a nicely packaged sausage, and then the end blew out when it got past her elbow. Yeah. I had never seen anything like that. So I'm like, okay, well maybe this is a deformity. No, they're both arms. And then to cap it off, her poor daughter walks in behind her. Same thing. Yeah. She has got the wrapped up sausage forearms and the exploded end biceps. It was a first for me, Kate. I wasn't shocked, but I was intrigued.
Yeah, I've seen something similar to that before, and you just kind of.
But it wasn't like they missed forearm day and only hit bicep day. It was not muscle. It was Waffle House style trims.
Yeah, it.
How do you think that happened? Is it just genetics?
It's the I'm drinking diet soda, so it's fine. I'm gonna have 12 of them. That's it cancels everything out. So this place we went to is the epitome of comfort food. They got it's a great place. They got and we can get into the menu size of the Cheesecake Factory later, but they have one of those Cheesecake Factory menus where they have like 15 pages of shit. Yeah. And so I had what do they call it? A KC chicken. What it is it's a grilled chicken covered in cheese and 2 slices of bacon on a bed of fries. And a bowl of green beans to set it off. The green beans weren't very good. It's about 7,000 calories there, so you're doing good. Well, it was grilled. Oh, it's grilled. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a griddle? No, not a McGriddle. It was grilled. The chicken was grilled. But if you have a Diet Coke, then this offsets all that. Well, I had tea. Yeah, I don't like Diet. Well, Diet Dr. Pepper is okay. Brent. If you have the Diet Coke, then it just offsets everything. Mm. Yeah, I know. It's like the spade. when you're playing spades. You throw down
the trump card.
Throw down the old trump card right away. That's a Diet Coke, where it takes care of everything.
And it's still
Later.
like fake sugar.
Yeah.
My wife is she's bound and determined to say fake sugar is almost worse than real sugar because it doesn't know what to do with it, or so. I don't know. She knows.
It really is.
Yeah. But those are just a few things I wonder about. So, you know, and not to harp on the matter, but I noticed they're going to have, and this is Amarillo, Texas. We're like in the heart. I mean, we're like, I figured we were like the last bastion of an area with a decent amount of population for a rural area that's conservative and not woke. But they're going to have a drag queen Christmas in Amarillo. And I don't know what that really entails, but but Dwight Yoakam's coming in September, so I'm kind of stoked about that.
Is he gonna sing some songs at the?
Yeah, he's not gonna
Christmas thing.
No, the streets of Bakersfield never look the same again, man. They got glass pipes and tampons on dudes walking through the streets. So no, I think he's gonna stick to the old traditional stuff.
So is this like a deal at the
Civic Center? Yeah, Civic Center. Yeah, it was a pretty terrifying poster. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah,
it's a scary thing. But I will let you know if our school where our kids go to in Vega, Texas, if that ever goes woke, that's the end of the world. Because if it happens there, it's over.
Yeah.
Because we might as well be Little House on the Prairie. Now, we've got plenty of worldly people there, but ain't nothing like that.
Yeah, even the worldly people have a hard stop, you know, in their place, you know.
Well, you would think so. And then Biden got elected, and like I said, all bets were off after that.
We'll struggle.
Well, Casey, tell us a little bit real quick about your Moving Iron podcast and how big you've gotten.
Moving Iron podcast.
Can you even walk down the street in Council or wherever the fuck you are now? Something Bluffs, Nebraska.
Scottsbluff.
Scottsbluff, yeah.
Bluff's on the other side of the state in Iowa. So yeah,
that's right.
Moving Iron podcast. Anywhere you can find podcasts, it's talking about farm equipment and the economic drivers behind it. So, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Moving Iron LLC. Go to the YouTube channel, check it out.
Is there a lot of nudity in that podcast?
No, actually not. We kind of try to keep our clothes on as much as we can.
Yeah.
We do have some Aaron Fennell tractor porn from time to time. So if you're into that, you might find that hot.
This homeboy is Rain Man when it comes to tractors.
Yeah,
he definitely doesn't shop at Kmart because their Kmart sucks.
Yeah, that's very true. Now Fennell is he is one of those guys that I know a lot of guys that proclaim to be, you know, iron geeks, and they, you know, it's like me saying I'm a big fan of the Rolling Stones, and I just know their hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know any of their deep cuts, and Fennell knows everything there is to know about an all-over tractor.
He does. So I had, for example, did a little impromptu quiz show for him on Twitter. He didn't know he was going to be a part of, and all I did was shoot my camera down the top from the cab and looking down the nose of the tractor. And he wasn't 100%, but he was damn closer than he should have been.
I had a couple good guesses in there.
Yeah, you did too. You didn't. What?
Yeah, I mean, I saw there's a Swin bike in the back. And
yeah, he was doing that whole peanut gallery bullshit thing. I almost blocked you, but it was touch and go there for a minute. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's the. I am not for someone that works in the equipment business. I'm not an equipment guy. I'm more of a. Let me just dissect what's going on in the marketplace, and I'll tell you why your tractor's worth what it's worth.
Right.
That's really where I'm at.
I'm going to tell you everything except how much I'm about to screw you, right?
Oh.
I don't know about that. I'm just getting fair market value.
And by the way, you never found me a row crop header yet.
Oh, I have.
What?
All been sold.
So you haven't found one then?
No, I found them. I just dollar late, day
Mm-hmm.
late and dollar short.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't even got the sunflowers planted yet, so
Yeah.
it's actually rained a bunch. Like we've got.
So how much rain have you got down there?
So we've gotten. I'm gonna say since the whole spell began, which is about mid to late May, we've gotten 10 inches.
Yeah, so we started raining up here like the last day of April and pretty much all through May.
Yeah.
And 1 week in there where we got like 6.5 inches of rain where I'm at. If you went north where I'm at, there's anywhere between 8 to 10 inches of rain. So
Wow.
really depending on where you're at and kind of what happened, you might have gotten between 6 and 12 inches of rain in May, which is
Unheard of.
12 inches of rain out here is like 3 inches short of our average.
Yeah.
Annual average.
So yeah, of course there was a big deal, and in Hereford, of course, they have lots and lots of feed yards and lots of cattle, and several of the large yards are on the creek that catches the watershed of a lot of the area, and just west of Hereford is where a lot of the big feed yards are. And there was one spot they're estimating it rained maybe 10 inches one night, and
Really?
it drowned maybe a few thousand cattle in those yards.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, just not even a once in 100-year deal. It was a freak deal.
Okay.
But
So was it just standing water or moving water?
no. So I mean, these yards are on the sides of this, creek bed, or not really a creek bed, but anyway, I mean, this has never been seen before here. And so because they all these yards, dairies, they all have to be on slopes. I mean, granted, it doesn't rain a whole lot here until now, but they do have to be on slopes, and usually that's obviously where a creek bed is, or on the on the slope of it. And I mean, it was just an absolute, unheard of flood for our area. And I mean, I haven't seen all the different lakes and ponds around here. Well, not really lakes; we call them lakes, but I've never seen them this full since I've been around, and it's crazy. But yeah, a lot of those pens were underwater and they couldn't escape, and it was a pretty bad old deal. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I haven't seen this area this. I mean, this is widespread. All of the Texas Panhandle, Kansas. I mean, I know Western Kansas was terrible. Oklahoma Panhandle. I mean, it's as green as you've ever seen here. It's crazy, and it's. Finally,
it went from being, dirt brown to. So yeah,
we were just. Up until this thing started, it was just death.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like popcorn 2 seconds too long, kind of thing.
Right.
So,
yeah. It's funny looking at the drought map. Where we're at, and we were so dry for so long that all this rain that we got just made it just like a slight shade.
Yeah.
Shade.
It looks awesome here now. It's pretty unbelievable. And I mean, the thing of it is so we're like up to maybe 12 on the year, and our average is 18 to 19 here on the western side of the Panhandle. And I mean, that's, we're halfway through the year. Of course, our wet months are really June, and then in August, September are our wet months. And I mean, let's say we only get another 6 or 7 or 8 inches. That's just a little above average.
Right.
And I mean, we're getting these rains and we think, oh man, this is a wet year. No, It's just what it's supposed to do. So anyway, we've just gotten so jaded.
Well, I mean, for us to break even, we got to have about 45 inches of rain this year just to catch up for.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the last 3 or 4 years we've had 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch rain type deals, and just a flurry or two of snow. So I mean, it's just been incredibly dry.
Yeah, we had we had an inch of snow maybe for the entire year. We usually get about a foot all together, and we didn't.
We've had a wet year. We had probably 3.5 or 4 feet of snow out here this year.
Oh yeah, so we never get that. We hadn't had that in a long time. But it is a beautiful. I mean, I've been telling my wife for a long time. I was like, no, summer is not my favorite time of the year. If it's like this, it might be.
Right.
But I noticed next week it's gonna heat up and dry out. It's gonna get in the mid 90s, so it's
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that we got all this rain and it won't take long for it to disappear.
yeah. Well,
That's
this one it'll take. I mean, you see these big lakes and ponds, and you think, man, it'll be there for. It's amazing how fast they go down. It's just so porous and everything.
Yep.
But anyway,
Take long.
don't take long at all. Just about 5 to 6 minutes is all it takes. Well, Casey, so what's your what at Moving Iron LLC?
Yep, at Moving Iron LLC on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check me out over on LinkedIn at Moving Iron Podcast, and go over to the YouTube channel, Moving Iron Podcast YouTube channel. You can also go to movingironllc.com, and you can see all the fun stuff I have up there.
All the good tractor porn and all that great stuff. Well, this is the Waffle House. I don't know. I may have to call Waffle House Fight Night Show. It just rolls better.
It does have a better ring to it.
But this was our experimental premiere episode, no longer on the Dryline Farmer podcast. We are going into another direction. Hopefully, this will work out. We're going to get Landon on here at some point. Maybe he'll get away from his, whatever he's backgammon game with grandma or something. But we'll get him back nonetheless. But everybody, keep tuning in. Check us out at, I think it's Waffle Flippers on Twitter is what we are. Yes, we are. And I was going to do another segment on what's trending, but Casey, I bet we've ran out our welcome. But yes, come check us out at Waffle Flippers, or you can check out me at Trader Brent, and Landon is at No Twit Landon 44, I think. Yeah. No Twit Landon 44. I don't know. He's not 44. He wasn't born in 44. He wasn't even the 44th in his class. So find him there all over Twitter. We're going to get this YouTube channel going and blowing. We're going to get some videos. We're going to get some reactions. I just did a sample, Casey, of Plan 9 from outer space. Holy shit, that thing got hard to get through. I mean, have you ever seen it?
I haven't.
I mean, so it's been billed the worst movie ever made. And it is so comically horrible that it's unbelievable. But it's public domain. So I might post it. I didn't do just a stellar job, but I went ahead and rewatched it today, and it's a little better with some buddies and beer. So we'll get that out too. We've got all kinds of stuff planned. So until next time, if you go to the Waffle House, pick a fight, film it, do whatever you can to get views, clicks, likes, retweets, because we're all in this for exposure, and you don't want us exposing ourselves.
Been on the scissor.
Yeah, but guys, thanks for checking out this first ever episode of the Waffle House Fight Night Show, and until next time, keep your dukes up.